Mind Gap Podcast.
Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
I'm pumped. I'm so excited for this show. I was a go-getter today, Justin. I got shit done.
Today was a good day for Doug.
I got shit done, man. I was knocking stuff out for work, man. Part of it is I'm making podcasts at work. So
right. So you're happy.
Yeah. But I have 8 of them, 8 episodes that I've recorded, and then I'm editing. And then I'm adapting it to like a still image video so that it can be put up. So it's like audio with just a still frame. And then I got to do the transcripts. And those are the ones that are like, oof.
Yeah.
So I use the speech to text feature in Adobe Premiere, which is better than nothing, right? It's better than doing yourself.
Probably like 75% of the way there. And you just got to go in and tweak.
Got to go in and re-listen to it and tweak it out and everything like that. And I make little adjustments here and there. So it takes some time, but I've completed 6 of 8. So nice. My goal is to get them all done by end of weeks because I'm going on a 2-week vacation, baby. And by vacation, I mean I'm just not working for 2 weeks. I'm not going anywhere. So
that could be nice.
So have no fear, friends. I will be around just dicking off. Probably, hey, you should come down and do laser tag.
Okay.
It's like, you got some free time? Come hang out. Because we're just... Since my other plans got canceled, we're going to be like bowling and just like having a good time, just doing all sorts of shit, man. Like, you know, we got the Bolero. You remember the Bolero, Justin?
The what?
The Bolero.
You can keep saying it. I don't know what it means.
When you came by my house, you're like, you have a Bolero? Like you just like were making a joke like you'd heard of it before. It was like,
yeah. Is it a bowling alley?
Yeah. Be funny if it wasn't. It's like, no, it's a restaurant.
Right. Well, I didn't know if it was like it's a bowling alley plus, like, you know.
I mean, I think they also have like mini golf, which I've never done there. I never trust a place that has more than one of those things because it's like, hey, focus on one thing that you're good at. All right? Let's just focus.
It's like a restaurant like the Cheesecake Factory.
Right. Like I went to that.
Can't do all of this.
I went to that trampoline park, you know, when I came up to, you know, up in GR for GR living. And the trampoline park was the main thing. They also had mini golf and laser tag. And I was like, okay. Right. And we did the mini golf. It's like 5 holes.
Not just that. They had like that was just a sampling. Didn't they have like 20 different things that they do at that
There was
place?
a bunch. There was also a big old arcade and all sorts of stuff. Right. It was a lot. But actually Natalie's going to a birthday party and they're doing laser tag at this place. And I was like, I'll take Natalie to that one. Jill goes, do you mind? I go, not at all. I'm happy to take her. I'd be loving. And then she's probably like, hey, adults aren't allowed. I'm like, fuck you. I'm playing with the kids.
Right.
Later, I'm not making small talk with these other parents. Later, I'm playing with the kids. Woo! I'm going to make friends.
Yep.
Jared says, I want to do laser tag. Hey, man, I've only done it a handful of times in my life, and it's pretty fucking cool. I love it. It's so cool.
Do they have laser tag in Australia?
I would think they would.
Laser tag?
Do they call it something else?
Lazy Teague.
It's more Kiwi-ish, but you know, whatever. It's all good.
Lazy Teague.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I got a lot of shit done today. I'm feeling good. I feel accomplished. I even snuck in a 25-minute nap. It was great. It felt good.
Man, you really did knock it all out today.
Yeah, I did it, man. I tell you,
I did not.
I'm the king. I did not. I'm the king of the 25 to 45-minute nap now. Okay. I've totally just given up I'm going to sleep until I wake up nap. Like I just don't do that anymore. I'm like, no, at max it's an hour, no more than that. But for the most part, I find these little windows of time during the day and I lay down, I'm right there. I get to it, I fall asleep and I wake up and I'm like, energy! And I feel good and I'm ready to go.
I've never been able to nap and feel good afterwards. I can't wake up after a nap. I don't know why. Like, and I know people evangelize it all the time. They're like, you got to do it. And they promote. I understand it works for a lot of people. I am just not one of those people. I never have woken up like, whew, feel refreshed, ready to go. I always wake up groggy. My hair's a mess. I feel like I get that weird tasting. It doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
Well, because you're probably just sleeping. You're not napping. And I learned the difference of that.
Well, wait, how do you, is it the amount of time or are you physically doing something different when you do this?
Well, because the sleep is like, yeah, I'm going to lay down and take a nap. It's like an hour and a half and your body goes through like REM cycle, deep sleep and all that. That's not a nap. That's just.
No, I do it for a half hour. It's the same
even a half
thing.
hour? Really?
It's just not right. I don't know. My body doesn't, maybe not the mouth thing. Maybe it, that's not, but like I go, Doug, I go deep.
You should. Yeah. I feel like I do. I feel like I just get it done. And then I wake up, I'm like, cool. Because if I let myself go too long, then I'm like, come out, I'm like, I used to understand, like, who can only sleep for 30 minutes? That's crazy. It's like, no, it's actually like really good. And when you can teach yourself to do it and trust yourself and be disciplined and be like, just get up after 25 to 30 minutes. I also have the uncanny ability of just like hitting the pillow and going to sleep. It doesn't take me long. So
see, I have a hard time winding my brain down. So that's another thing that probably works against me.
Yeah. When I'm tired, it's just like, adios, I'm out. Later, dudes.
I did that.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the other side.
It's Jill hates it. Because
the fact that you can fall asleep so quickly.
Yeah. Cause usually, and then it means like a little bit of snoring will come, especially when I was really bad at it. She'd be like, fuck, Doug went to bed before me. I'm like, later, bitch. And I'm fast asleep. And then she's like, wake up. God damn it. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm not asleep yet. I'm like, too bad. Right back at it.
You're like, okay, ready? Let's go to sleep on 3, 2.
She gets so mad. She's like, God, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's just, my dad was like that, where he grew up on the farm and he basically had a small window of time to eat lunch and like do whatever before he went back to chores. He's like, this is my only time. I got to do it. So he just would go to sleep. And then I also realized it's probably because he got really overweight and had diabetes. And so that's probably why he was able to,
Sure.
fall asleep, because his body's like, please give me a moment's rest, because we are running so inefficiently. We've got so much gunk in the gears. We cannot function properly. I will make you fall asleep where you are. So get to a bed, or you're just going to fall asleep where you are.
Right. Don't sit down lest you're ready to go under.
I had that for a little bit when I was really unhealthy, where I was just like almost narcoleptic. Just passing out.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad. I was telling my doctor about it at one point, and he referred to it as sleep attacks. And I was like, that's actually a pretty apt description. I remember specifically, it was like 2017, 2018. I was in my little office at work, and I was like staring at the computer. I'm like, God damn, I'm tired. And then I just found myself like time had passed, and I was like, and I had like fallen asleep and it scared the shit out of me because I felt like I didn't have control over it. I'm like, I'm just so tired. And I was not active at all. And there would be times where I was just on the couch watching TV or whatever. And then, and Jill was talking to me. And I went, she goes, did you just fall asleep? I go, no. Lied to her. No, I didn't fall asleep.
Blatantly lying.
She's like, what? I was like, And I saw my brother do it. We were in the car talking. He did the same thing, passed out in the car, and I'm like, oh fuck! Like this is a health thing. This is not good. This is not good at all.
Wow.
Hasn't happened to me since. Now, obviously, I've gotten tired and been like, I could fall asleep, but I haven't just been like, it just didn't hit me all of a sudden and be like, boy, I'm sure I'm. Guys,
your body
get in shape.
Just decided I'm shutting down right now.
Yeah, get in shape, guys. Yeah. Like, don't drink a lot of soda. Don't drink a lot of Mountain Dew. Don't pretend to do keto the way you think it's done because you just want to eat bacon and cheese and be like, hey, it's keto. I'm gonna have a bunch of browned hamburger meat with taco spices and about a pound of cheese on top and be like, this is my keto lunch. That's not a good way to do it. And then be like, I'm tired. I guess I'll have a Mountain Dew to get through the rest of the day. Not good options, gang. Not good options. Don't recommend.
Yeah, that was a great phase because I knew nothing about keto, and I was just, you would tell me like, this is healthy, man, and you would go through it, and I would like, doesn't seem healthy, but I mean, he's probably done more research than I have. So
I didn't. I was like trying to find the cheat code in it. I'm like, wait, so you don't have to eat vegetables, you can just eat meat? And like, you just have to avoid carbs. I'm like, this is my fucking dream right here. This is the thing that works for me. And I've bent it to what I wanted it to be. And
you changed the narrative.
Yeah, it was not good. Yeah. I think keto is possible if you do it the right way. I was not doing it the right way at all. So,
sure.
Also, no exercise. I did lose a few pounds, but probably because my body's like, Jesus Christ, we have to go into like,
what are we doing?
Shock mode because we're just consuming meat and cheese and so much cauliflower rice. This is insane. And I was like just using like a bunch of oil, which is fine, right? Like oil, there are worse things to, put on stuff, but I was just dousing. I got into like zucchini and I was just putting zucchini in with a shitload of oil and bacon and using bacon grease. And I'm like, it's bacon. I don't want to waste the grease. Just put bacon all in there.
You're deep frying zucchini. Yeah.
Oh, it was gross. It was so gross. Just thinking back to it, and I was just eating it nonstop. I got to the point where Jill's like, I can't eat cauliflower rice ever again because that's all I was eating was just with cauliflower rice nonstop. She's like, can we fucking stop doing this? And I was like, okay.
God, when you look back on some of the stuff that you did in the past, isn't it amazing
how
we're alive? Much things have changed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom used to say to me, we just didn't know any better. Like when I think about riding in the car, we didn't ride in car seats. I mean, do you remember riding in a car seat, Justin?
Yeah.
I don't. I never remember. I always remember just being in the back seat. My brother would sit in the front seat because he got car sick, and I'd just be in the back. Maybe? Yeah, I mean, but now you're supposed to ride in some sort of booster seat until you're like 12 or some shit like that. Like I'm like, huh?
It's a weight requirement.
Yeah, it's a weight and height requirement until you can transition over. And part of me is like, Jesus, I wish that was now because I fucking hate car seats. They're not fun. I don't enjoy them.
Richie said he's been doing time restricted eating for a few years. I think we on this side of the pond, I think that's intermittent fasting.
Yeah,
is the trendy way of saying that over here.
That doesn't work for me because there is a monster inside of me. And if you let that monster get hungry, there's just no turning it off. It will rampage.
Right.
I have to have small meals throughout the day. I get up, I have my breakfast, and then I go on my walk. I do my workout. I have my after workout shake, and that's usually around 7:45. And then I'll have a snack around 10:30. I'll have lunch between 11:30 and noon, and then I'll have another snack between 3 and 4, and then I have dinner. And I have to do that because it keeps the beast at bay.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I can sometimes make it.
You have to tamper it.
I got to keep it satiated where that way I don't just go, It gets really bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, Richie, whatever you're doing is working. So we can say that. So if that's working for you, you keep it up, buddy, because you're looking very svelte.
Yes. Great job, man. Good job. Proud of you.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be proud of you. I didn't do anything to make that happen. I'm happy for you. That's it. I'm really sensitive about using I'm proud of you now because I'm like, that just sounds like we talked about like how I'm assigning ownership over what you've done. I'm proud of you, Richie, as if I had anything to do with your accomplishments at all. It says, no, I'm happy for you. That's way different. I think that makes more sense. I'm thrilled for you. Keep it up.
Did we talk about that on the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We sure did. Justin's like, cool. That checks out. Yeah.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think you and I are experiencing a pretty bad delay right now.
I think you're right. But guess what? It hasn't stopped us.
Nope. We're just going to keep talking over each other, gang.
I mean, on my end, it doesn't sound like we're talking over each other. So.
Big time on my end.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. So.
So if Justin gets quiet the rest of the podcast, you all know why.
Oh boy, this will be fun. Richie says I let go a little in December. I let go a lot over Thanksgiving in November, and now my goal is like, let's get this shit under control. And I'm doing a lot better now. I'm doing a lot better. I've been very disciplined.
Yeah.
The other night I let myself have some yogurt with a little bit of honey and some fruit. I was like, that was my treat. But the storm's coming. We're gonna make a bunch of shit for Christmas, and it's gonna be a nightmare. So I'm gonna allow myself a day or two, but then just be cognizant, please, Doug. Please be cognizant. Yeah. So
future Doug needs to come back and listen to this again and remember. Past Doug is pleading with you, future Doug.
Please make it happen. All right, gang. Before we get into this, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. We'll get it done, and then we can move on. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it makes us very happy. We have done so well for 2022. We've gotten such great watch time. We've got so many more subs than when we started, and it's all thanks to you. Thank you for supporting us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, for all your comments, with the engagement, for sharing, all that sort of stuff. Seriously, thank you very much. We've seen some growth. Sometimes, some weeks, this feels like a grind. You're like, you're not feeling inspired, but you do it. And other weeks, it's like we're there, and you kind of look back, you're like, oh shit, we've actually accomplished some stuff. This is pretty cool. So it feels really good to have that happen. So thank you very much. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're making our way to our goals in that regard. If you'd like to, spend some money on us, check us out at patreon.com/mindgappodcast, or check out our merch at redbubble.com and just type in Mindgap Podcast to find our stuff there. Don't forget to check out our Discord. The link is in the description down below. You can meet all the cool people that we hang out with and do streams with on a regular basis. By the way, did you know we stream this? We stream the podcast live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central. We do. You can hang out and be like a cool people like Zinni, Jared, and Richie right now and chat with us live. I also host a video game stream on, right now it's Fridays for the most part, because D&D occupies my Saturdays, which I'm not mad at. And this Friday, I'm going to be playing Dinkum with Slotty. It's basically an Australian-like game where you play an Australian guy who's building a farm and doing all sorts of Australian stuff, and we're going to be really inconsiderate in the way that we portray Australians while we play it. So that'll be this Friday at 8 p.m. Central.
Dinkum.
Fair dinkum. Come check it out. It'll be a good time. And then, that's it. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for participating in this little thing we call our podcast. So this feels like appropriation, Jared. It is. We're going to make it fun. So, Jared, do people in Australia wear a lot of shirts or not? Because I feel like I'm going to be in character for this, and I feel like I shouldn't wear a shirt. And I feel like that's pretty appropriate for Australians. Or
should Doug wear like 5 or 6 shirts at the same time? Do they wear a lot of shirts?
Is that how that works? I don't know.
That's the question I thought you were asking when you said a lot of shirts. I'm like, do Australians typically just layer?
Yeah, wear a single tank top. Okay. I don't know if I have a tank top. Those days are long behind me. But
or a singlet.
Oh, a singlet? Like a wrestling singlet?
Do you have your wrestling singlet?
No.
Yeah. Do you have that?
And your thongs or flip-flops. Well, my feet aren't going to be on here because this is my OnlyFans. So that content's behind a paywall. So take it easy there, pal. But I think we're going to have some fun with that. It'll be a good time. Can't wait. So that's Friday at 8 p.m. Central. Come check that out. youtube.com/mindgappodcast. But we got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. I'm super excited. Let's get to it. First thing, we're continuing our streak of weird food lawsuits. TGI Friday's quote-unquote mozzarella sticks contain no mozzarella. Lawsuit against manufacturer claims. Dun, dun, dun! I don't think we have a delay anymore. I think we're caught up with each other, Justin, because you were all over that shit. We're there. Zinni goes, oh, here we go again. Fuck yes.
Yep.
So apparently, TGI Friday's mozzarella snack sticks, which, by the way, if that doesn't spell diarrhea, I don't know what does. Like, if you're going to the store and you're like, gee, what could I do to really punish myself in my bowels? How about these TGI Friday's mozzarella snack sticks? But to be clear, this is not against the restaurant chain of the same name. They've just licensed this to the company that is called, what is it? What are you called? It's some sort of fucking thing. Inventure is the name of the company that distributes this stuff. So the lawsuit claims that TGI Friday's packaged cheese snacks found in grocery store frozen food sections are labeled quote unquote mozzarella sticks, but they actually only contain cheddar cheese. Only fine print on the back of the product package reportedly reveals the truth about the cheese.
This is so nefarious.
I feel like the truth about the cheese is a title to something, and I don't know what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what. While you do that, I'm going to have someone write us a story about it.
So apparently, plaintiff Amy Joseph accused both TGI Fridays Incorporated and the makers of the cheese sticks, Adventure Foods Incorporated, of misleading customers about the packaging label. Customers would not pay as much or buy as much of the product if it was accurately labeled, Joseph said in her lawsuit. Dear God, I want to pose this to you. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you're here on the stream right now, tell me, would you be less inclined to buy something that says cheddar sticks versus mozzarella sticks? What would that be a deal breaker for you if you're like, I'm a mozzarella only kind of person, you know? I'm not. I don't fuck with cheddar and my fried dough sticks. I don't do that. All right. This is a fucking lie. Can you imagine buying it, putting it, cooking it, and being like, this is yellow cheese? Like how the rage you would feel. I wanted mozzarella.
Well, what if it's white cheddar?
Oh my God, it's even worse.
That's what I'm saying. Really, really worrisome. I'll tell you who we should have had on for this is Bob.
Oh.
Bob Ballmeyer hates cheese except for very specific types of cheese.
Tell me more.
I think mozzarella is the only type, and it's got to be fresh mozzarella though. It can't be exactly. So it's very, he doesn't like the consistency of melty cheese, but he's got a whole thing that he
does
goes
he eat
through.
Pizza?
He does, but it's not he eats it begrudgingly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the one thing he and his Italian family can't get along about.
Okay.
So here's the thing. You know how you and I have the what is a sport debate?
Yeah.
And
does he have what is a cheese debate?
Don't make sense.
Sure.
His is what cheese does Bob like? And his arguments are very clear in his head, but they don't always make sense to everyone else.
Okay. So you said like fresh mozzarella, which by the way, love fresh mozzarella. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I will just eat that plain with a little bit of salt and pepper. Mwah, so good. What I know Bob isn't here. Do you know any other type of cheese that he likes by chance? I'm just curious.
Oh, I don't. I can't. We go over this. So I've known Bob for 25, 26 years now. So we go over it every few years. It comes back up because we meet someone new and they're like, hey, do you want to get an appetizer with this? And he's like, I don't like cheese. What? And we have to discuss it again. I don't remember all the details, but I do know this has been a running thing for us. So for someone like him, this could be a very big issue.
Interesting.
This could be a very, very big issue.
Well, we found the guy that it really truly affects. That's good to know.
I'm just saying,
that's good to know.
You know what? As we're talking here, I'm just going to message him.
I was just about to ping him on G-Chat and just be like, hey, what kind of cheese do you like?
Hey, can you hop on the live stream chat? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So while Justin's figuring that out, so we've got Richie. Jared says yes. I want mozzarella for stringiness. That's fair. It's got to be good mozzarella for that. Richie says I wouldn't buy either of them. I'm with you. If I'm gonna go cheat meal, it's not gonna be a frozen food section, fried cheese dough thing. I'm gonna go for something way better than that. Zenny says, I feel my rage increasing on this level of dumb shiteness. I'm hear you. I hear you with it. It's really dumb. Just call it cheese stick. I agree. Simply having a company's label on a product. Okay, that's what they're talking about. How TGI Fridays is not getting culpable in this. Inventor reportedly argued that it never really said the product contained mozzarella cheese, adding that no quote-unquote reasonable customer would think a shelf-stable, crunchy snack product actually contained mozzarella. That's a really shitty way of putting it. They're like, hey, no idiot would think that this thing's healthy enough to actually contain cheese.
Hey. Right, no shit, dummy.
Yeah, right.
Well, I would also say this. So the last week we talked about, or a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Kraft Velveeta thing, right? Mm-hmm. Where it said it takes 3.5 minutes before it's ready to go.
Ready in 3.5 minutes.
And on the package, right, on the package, it said that. And you were Practical Doug was like, look, there is maybe from a legalese standpoint, a valid argument here. This says, they even say on the back of the package, it states what is in it. If she was too lazy to flip that package over, is there even a lawsuit? I'm surprised the judge let this lawsuit through.
Yeah, they obviously try to file to dismiss it. but the judge allowed it to happen. Also, the inventor, the food company for this, is questioning Amy Joseph's motives for purchasing the product. Reuters reports that adding Inventure Foods said that Joseph has filed multiple consumer class action lawsuits, with at least 8 being in the last decade. So this seems like it's a pattern for them. But
it's a career path for her.
Yeah. Her lawyer basically celebrated, saying, "We're pleased with the judge's ruling. The judge agreed with us that the claims in the lawsuit have merit and the case should not be dismissed. We intend to proceed against Inventure Foods on behalf of the nationwide class of purchasers." It's funny because I got a notice in the mail for a class action lawsuit today. And I just looked at it. I was like, who does this? Like, who actually is like, yeah, I spent $4.28. I want to get in on this. Oh, shit. Bob has entered the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. All right. Bob, first of all, thank you for being here.
As he trepidatiously asks, what am I walking into?
All right, Bob, I'm so glad you're here because Justin popped open the top of this can of cheese snakes, and I need to know more. I hear there's a beef. There's not a beef. This is about cheese,
There's
my
cheese.
friend. Okay. I need to know what kind of cheese do you like? I hear you like fresh mozzarella. But you wouldn't dabble with a whole lot. You have trouble with melty cheese and you eat pizza begrudgingly. Tell me a little bit more about that, because I'm just kind of curious. As a man with an Italian flair and likes to cook, I imagine. I mean, there's a lot of non-dairy things these days, but I don't know. I'm trying to imagine a world where someone's like, "Hey, man, you want a cheese stick?" You're like, "I don't do cheese, man." Like, what is it? Is it a texture?
As he's typing this up, just to give him a little bit of backstory of why we were talking about cheese. Hold on. Okay, so he goes, it's okay. Hard cheeses are the jam.
Okay.
Melted cheeses are the devil. Pizza is an exception. I'm a complicated bitch.
I love hard cheeses also. What's your favorite kind of hard cheese?
Yes.
Because I'm here for it, dude. I smoked cheddar cheese recently on my smoker. Holy shit. I became obsessed with it. That's all I want. Have that with a slice of apple. Maybe throw it on a buttered cracker. Hi-ya! So good. So good. Holy shit.
So real quick, Bob, the TGI Fridays mozzarella sticks that you find in the freezer section, they're getting sued because they are in fact cheddar cheese and they're not mozzarella. And some lady had a big issue with that. And Doug was saying, who would have an issue? You're buying a cheese stick. Who cares what kind of cheese? And I said, well, there's one person that I know who might have an issue with what kind of cheese is in there. But that being said, I feel like you wouldn't be caught dead eating a cheese stick because it's melty.
Yes. He says, Parm and Romano are my faves. Amen, brother. I'm right there with you. Fresh shaved, or even just, sometimes when I'm shaving off some fresh Parm for the dish, I'll just slice off a little bit for myself. And that's why I have to eat throughout the day, because I'll just be like, I want more. And then before I know it, I eat all this goddamn Parmesan. So I wouldn't have an issue with cheese sticks because fuck that. I just go back to this overall thing, like the idea that someone goes just like, what? I'm taking this motherfucker down. Class action lawsuit. I'm going for it, man. They're lying to the public, and we're taking them down. It's like, okay.
I'm gonna blow the top right off this.
There goes my hero. Just.
I've got a bunch of class action stuff in the mail, the same thing. And I'm like, the amount of time it would take me to, follow up on this and make sure, and, just following the trial. And I'm going to walk out with what, $1.50 from RCN. Why? It just doesn't make any sense.
Out of principle. Yeah. Now listen, if these are technically labeled TGIF, fried mozzarella sticks, and they don't actually,
is it in quotes though?
Because that's the thing. Because if it is, again, technicality, it's true. These aren't mozzarella cheese sticks. You know what I mean? And apparently they are labeled as mozzarella sticks. Justin's leaning in real close.
Yep.
So if it does say they're mozzarella sticks and they don't contain mozzarella, this is where you leave yourself open to assholes just, slip it in your cracks. They slip in your cracks. They get a little pinky in there. They make a little bit of room. And then that's when they're sticking their nose in there, and you don't want that. All right. Corporate America, you hear what I'm saying? You know?
You just, right. You don't want noses and cracks.
I don't want your nose in my crack. So get your cheese right, or you get a nose in your crack.
That's right. What the moral of the story is: get your cheese right, or you're going to get a nose in your crack.
Get your cheese right.
This goes back to, we talked about this with the Kraft mac and cheese lady, is that if this is what you have to worry about, my God, what a life you live. Because who fucking gives a flying fuck about any of, like, this is the hill you're choosing to die on. You're going to plant your flag here and say, this shall not stand.
I feel like I know this woman. I feel like I see the moment she goes into the grocery store. She walks by that freezer section. She opens it up and she just picks it up. And there's just some poor fuck who just had to run to the store real quick because they forgot to pick up some veggies. They're like, you know what I'm going to get? I'm just going to get some frozen broccoli. Maybe I'll get like a vegetable medley because this is fine. And as they're going to look for it, they see this woman in their face holding up. She goes, do you see this? Do you see it? It says mozzarella cheese sticks. The guy's like, yeah, oof, I love Fridays. No. He's like, okay, I just want to get this because, you know, gotta get home. No, it's not mozzarella. It's not. She's just like showing it in his face. He's like, fuck. Okay. She's like, it's actually cheddar. I won't stand for this. And the manager comes out and goes, dear God, fucking Amy's here again. He's like, Amy, you can't be doing this. She's like, no. How can you sell these lies? You're part of the problem. Liar. And then this is like an ongoing thing, like every week, you know, she does that. Karen, says Richie.
Yeah. Well, do you think she's the type of person that builds her own class action lawsuit? Like, is she in the freezer
Obviously,
section
she's done 8 in the last decade. She understands. She knows the process.
Right.
She knows it by heart. She knows exactly what to do.
I'm just saying, she camps out in the freezer section. She just waits for someone to pick it up and go, do you buy these often? Yeah. Hey, do you want to get in on this?
Yeah,
we're taking this fucking company down. We're going to be millionaires.
Yeah, we're going to get it.
Yeah,
Jared
here's
says,
my card.
Jared says, to be frank, it seems like right now everyone needs a windfall just to survive. Suing someone for bullshit is basically like lotto for people who need money to survive. But here's the thing. It's not really a lotto. I think people look at this incorrectly. The winning the lotto is I buy a scratch ticket or the Powerball or whatever and hope that it turns out. This is so much work. This is like the amount of effort, the intricacy levels that you go to cheat on a test when you're like, just study for the test. Just study. This person's like, I'm going to try to find some technicality, some little loophole that I'm then going to try and ram through corporate America to hopefully get a payout. And the thing is, it might work, it might not, but you're still like, you have to hire a lawyer. It takes time. If you're looking for a windfall, this ain't it. Like, this is not your ticket. This is not your golden ticket to make this happen. Well, I think it's really obnoxious that people are doing this.
Depending on how many people join the lawsuit, like, you're like, not only is it going to take absolutely forever, like Bob said, you're going to walk away with what, maybe $50? Like how much are you suing them for? How many people are attached to this? What are your legal fees? Right.
Because are you trying to go for punitive damages as well? You know, because you got, depending on where you are, there's going to be limitations on what comes with that. And it's the idea that this is some sort of like treasure trove that you've just stumbled upon, I think is completely inaccurate thinking. I just don't think it's not going to go the way that you think it will. And that's probably why this person has done 8 of them in the last 10 years, because they keep thinking, all right, now this is the one. This is the one that I'm going to, it's just like, why bother? Why bother over? Technically, she may be right. But what are you really going to get out of this? What are you looking for? And the lawyer that's like, we've got a case. It's like, yeah, technically you do. So congrats. Way to go. Right. Jesus Christ. Gross.
When we get to it, I have a short noir thriller story titled The Truth About Cheese, Doug.
Okay.
And we can save it or we can do it now.
I think we need to save it because it's out of context. It's not going to work.
All right, we're saving it.
So let us know how you feel about this lawsuit, gang. Is it worth it? Let me work it. Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. Say, we haven't even beaten round yet. You know what I'm saying? Cool.
I feel you.
So good. So good. So good. All right. So our next topic we're talking about is more AI generated stuff. So we've talked about this a lot, just like we've talked about food related class action lawsuits recently.
We're a pattern, guys. You can guess what the show is going to be about now.
Yes, you get it. But this is interesting because like I feel like there's continual AI things. And this one is in reference to Lensa AI. And I'm sure if you've been on Instagram, you've probably seen this. It makes magic avatars where you put in a few of your selfies and it will generate several different themes. It'll be like sci-fi, fantasy, things like that. And it looks really cool. They're very stylized and you pay like $7-8 for it and it'll spit out 10 to 20 of those images. And they look cool. Like the first time I saw it on there, I'm like, whoa, holy shit. How did this happen? And then I looked into it and, this is one of those things where the way that this works, this is from the TechCrunch article. And basically, Stable Diffusion, the AI image generator that powers Lensa, was originally trained on 2.3 billion captioned images. A massive cross-section of the visual internet. And in all of that kind of stuff, including watermarked images, copyrighted works, and a huge swath of pictures from Pinterest, apparently, those images also include many thousands of photos pulled from SmugMug and Flickr, illustrations from DeviantArt and ArtStation, and stock images from sites like Getty and Shutterstock. So the AI was trained on all this sort of stuff. And individual artists did not opt in to appearing in this training data set, nor can they opt out. So essentially, all of these styles and all of these kinds of things that were copyrighted just got all looped in, and now they exist as part of something that can be outputted with the stuff that they're also monetizing on top of that. They're not giving credit to. And this is where it gets really muddy because I'm always on the artist side with this sort of stuff. I'm very much, I don't believe in pirating. I always want to give credit to the people that generate the content. And so the idea of, I can't imagine what it's like to be an artist and then see your style, because that's also weird, right? Like your style. How do,
right.
What does that look like? But you could also watch a film and be like, oh, that's very much like a Christopher Nolan film or a Tarantino film or a Kubrick film. Jesus. Wow. Kubrick film or Spielberg film or George Lucas definitely has a style. And so I guess it's also like you think from the standpoint of comedy, like the way that a comedy's timing, their tone, the way that they approach a topic and stuff like that. You can say there's a style to it and you can kind of tell when someone's really attached to it or really trying to emulate that. So I have to assume it's also the same thing with art. So, and we kind of talked about this a couple episodes ago where there was a guy who does a lot of artwork for D&D and books, and people have been going to AI image generators and be like, give me this thing like this artist whose name is, I always forget it, Greg Rutkowski.
He's actually mentioned in the article.
Yeah. Greg Rutkowski. And essentially that, he's really concerned about this kind of stuff. He's worried his actual art will be lost in the sea of algorithmic copies. He says, what about in a year? I probably won't be able to find my work out there because the internet will be flooded with AI art. I actually saw a TikTok the other day of this woman who said it finally happened. My art style showed up on an AI generator, and basically it's my work. She's like, I can show you side by sides what they are, and she was heartbroken, and there's nothing you can do about it because, as this article says, the horse has left the barn. What are you going to do? So, Justin, what do you think about this?
I think this is kind of from the moment that we started talking about this, the first time this got brought up, this is one of the things that we were worried about. That we're not the only ones, obviously, but something that we've been talking about since the first time we brought it up on the show is, you know, these artists' styles. The fact that they didn't opt in, and there's no way for them to opt out. So against their will, their styles are being pirated and recreated faster, being replicated faster than any human could ever churn out these things, and for a cost far lower than what anyone would charge if you were getting the actual artist to create these things. And I think it feels like a complete violation. It feels like a violation. Like this is a weird comparison, but when I was younger, one of my first apartments, we got our apartment got broken into while we were there, right? And it just they ran around and we were all in our rooms. We heard it. We came back out. We're like, what the fuck was that? They were already out the door by the time, but it just you felt violated. You're like, what the fuck? Like, the people were in our place taking our stuff. Like, this to me has that same vibe of like, you just took my shit. This is my stuff that I've curated over a lifetime of figuring out my style. And just like that, it's just taken away. And I think the thing that bothers me the most is if artists were to opt into this, I think it would be one thing. They'd be like, yeah, let me see what my style looks like. I want to further this technology, so I'm going to throw my art into the ring. But to just take watermarked images from websites where you can't, like, those places are locked down. All of us have gone there and been like, well, maybe I can sneak in them. You know, no, they got this shit locked down for a reason. They charge, you know, that seems so just abhorrently wrong to me. Yeah.
I had a similar experience of feeling just like violated, but it's really dumb. So I'm going to share it. My character got hacked in World of Warcraft, and I went in after I got hacked, and all my shit was gone, and my character was just floating in space. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't log out here. And I just looked, and everything was gone. All my gold, all my gear, every single thing. And I felt absolutely sad because I'm like, fuck, I worked so hard to get all this shit, and now it's gone. And fortunately, I was able to like reach out to, you know, a moderator, and they were able to reset everything. And that's when I put 2-factor authentication on my account moving forward, which was awesome. But I know, really dumb, you know, compared to like, yeah, I got robbed in my apartment, and I was there when it happened. I was like, my character and all this fake stuff got taken away. But the idea of stuff that you put time into, and someone like just invaded your space, it fucking sucks. And, you know, I imagine, you know, what if somehow, not that anyone would, but someone was just like completely replicating our podcast, right? And putting it out there and monetizing it and getting money off of it. Sure. Like, that would fucking suck. I'd be furious if someone was,
right.
You know,
I mean, that'd be their waste of time, but
right. But it would suck if they were more popular than us. We'd be like, fuck, man, it's like literally us. And they're like, yeah, but we're just that much better than you. I'd be like, fuck, god damn it. Like, yeah, we hate shit too, Doug. We've got our own theme song for that too. Fuck you. We do a better anime out of context. Asshole.
Right.
Fuck, man. That was my idea. We've got a better fart soundboard. I mean,
what if they could take they could take our show, take a recording of it, feed it into an AI program, transcribe it, send it through 2 voice mods, and redo the show. And if they had a better way of marketing or a better way of getting it, you know, pushing it out, and if they were more, you know, in tune with social media, I don't know. Like, there's a solid chance someone could take it, repurpose it, and just get it out there better than we did. You know,
that would suck,
and that
man.
would absolutely suck. Yeah.
Yeah. I always put myself in those shoes of, you know, you make anything and then someone just takes it, you know, and doesn't, especially because there's something about creating something with art that is very personable, right? Personal. It makes you feel vulnerable. You're sharing a piece of you whenever you do it. And for someone just to take it and be like, cool, man, thanks. I'm going to slap it on this thing real quick, and I'm going to charge people for it. And it's like, your style's right here. And anyone can search to it to be like, you know, ducks fucking in the style of Greg Rutkowski. You know, get this really epic drawing of these 2 ducks fucking, but like it's in the D&D universe, you know. It's like, that's not how I do this. No, right. I don't want this, you know. And Bob says, not that I disagree with
his corpse through Dick's skull.
Quack, quack, motherfucker. Bob says, not that I disagree with both of you. These artists are using their platforms to promote their work. They enter the marketplace, and capitalism doesn't play by any moral rules. My rebuttal to that would be what Justin says, that they didn't opt into it. And, sites like DeviantArt and sites like Getty, Shutterstock, there are mechanisms in place to prevent people from just grabbing that stuff. You have to pay for a license, or there's ways to do that. So the fact that someone flipped a switch and people are like, gather all resources, and without their consent, because I'm curious if this AI didn't have consent to do that either, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Getty didn't sell them a license to pull information from their site, right? So
no,
that ain't cool, Bob says terms and conditions. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I think he's.
Go ahead. It's happening again, isn't it?
The delay is so bad.
I don't know why this is happening, but why not?
So bad.
Why not? Why won't it happen?
God. Well, yeah, right.
You go.
I would say to what Bob was saying, or to that conversation. I think. Yes, they are opting in. They are putting their artwork out there. They are putting it on platforms to sell and to promote themselves. But they're putting it out there with the understanding, or at least the belief, that it is behind a paywall. It's not going to be ripped off. Like these sites that they're uploading their art to, if it's their own site, they've probably tried to put things in place if they're uploading it to Getty or any of the Flickr or anything like that, Fiverr. Any place where you can hire them or buy their art, these sites kind of promote, yes, it's going to be behind a paywall and protected. And then someone creates this AI and it just says, go crawl the internet and grab every image you can. Fuck watermarks, look behind the watermark, or however they program it. That is, I wouldn't even say that's capitalism. That's just straight pirating.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I think that because even the author of this article talked about how they're also a bit of a photographer, and how they went to, they had their own stock photo online store. It's mostly mountain landscapes, and they went to one of their it was a national park. They had to get special permission to do a national park service. It was a 5-hour backpack trek up to a remote fire lookout in Washington. Many entailed lonely hours of tending my tripod alone in the freezing cold, tracking the Milky Way as it rotated above a dark horizon like a hand of a clock. And the AI models already have enough training fodder to faithfully recreate photos of one tucked away mountain spot nearby that only local night sky photographers seem to know about. So this person painstakingly went to try and take these photos. Now the AI is like, yeah, we can do that too. So it's not necessarily in the same vein of, hey, I stole your photo, but what's the incentive to go and get that really good photo if you can just have AI be like, hey, man, do this mountain landscape with these kinds of details. And they're like, I got it, because they've seen enough of them to know exactly how to create it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I do think I understand what Bob is saying in that, like, hey, if you're going to play in the game, you got to be ready for anything. And there is an element to that is true. Like, you don't know what's going to come down the pike. So like, you just be ready for, technology has a way of, just avalanching over all of it. Like you can't, if technology is an avalanche and you can't get out of the way of it. Like it's going to bowl everybody over in some, like we've talked about, like AI or self-driving cars replacing that industry. We've seen in the actual auto manufacturing industry, machines have taken over there. AI is coming after artists. Like it's technology eventually bowls everyone over. And so it's just a matter of when it hits you and what are you going to do to try to be ready for it? Because people, you're right. Capitalism, no one plays fair. There's no rules when it comes to this kind of stuff. So people will do whatever they want, whatever they can get away with. They'll do frivolous lawsuits against big food companies. People will do whatever they can to get a little bit ahead. So at the same time, it's just like, yeah, this sucks. This is the world we live in now. There's no changing it. The horse has left the barn. Toothpaste is out of the tube. I don't think there's anything you can do to change this.
Well, I think in times like these, you got to turn to the Bible. And the Bible says technology finds a way. And I think that's something we all live by, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Technology.
Yes.
Feeling it. Yeah.
So we need to focus AI on learning that I have put the fucking item in the bagging area. Stupid self-serve checkouts. I'm with you there, Jared. I'm with you there. It's there. God damn it. It's right there. And they come over there like,
we can crawl the entire internet. Yeah. And we can't.
What's the last thing you put in there? That's right there. I scanned it. It's right there. I'm not stealing. Jesus.
Oh, that's fucking funny. Jesus.
Oh, I love you, Jared. Speaking of AI, it's time, I think, for a brand new segment. This is a brand new one. If you're here,
That's the theme song.
It's it for right now. This is brand new because we have just used AI to generate this next segment. So I hope you're ready, gang. I hope you're ready. So if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, you should be. It is an AI. It's a conversation-based AI. And let me get some more information to kind of give you the full skinny on what it is. But essentially, it's created by OpenAI. And the idea is to kind of train it to have conversations, to generate things. And it can do lots of stuff. It can help you write code. You can ask it to be like, hey, here's this piece of code I wrote. Can you help me find what's wrong with it? And it will kind of like talk you through it. You can write responses back to it. Some people have used it to make malware. It generates short stories. It generates song lyrics. It's all sorts of stuff. It can do all sorts of things. And I found this and I said to myself, I wonder what kind of fun stuff I can have this thing make. And so I had to make a couple things, and then I gave Justin a homework assignment. I said, you need to have this thing make you 1 to 2 things of content that you are then going to share with everyone else. So Justin has made some things through ChatGPT. I have made a couple things, and now we're going to share them. And if you're on the stream, you're going to watch it unfold live, which is going to be very exciting. And if you're listening to it, great. You're going to listen to it. So, Justin, you seem pretty pumped before we got started. So, do you want to go first with your first thing, and then I will follow thereafter?
Yes. Give me 1 second because I'm just trying to get something set up here.
Oh, boy. I can't wait.
Yep. Hold on. I had to mute the old Chrome sound, so none of this came up. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yours has sound?
No, you'll understand in a second.
I can't wait.
Don't worry, you'll understand.
Oh, I'm not scared.
Okay, here we go.
I'm not scared.
So this is for when we get to the tail of the cheese. Cool. So, Doug, my first prompt, I think we all knew that this was one of the topics that was going to be brought up. So, who is it?
That was Natalie. Okay. Just hopped in real quick.
So the prompt that I gave it, I said, write me an epic poem about someone named Doug who hates onions.
Oh, this is fantastic. Lay it on me.
Yes.
Lay it on me.
All right. So, once upon a time in a land far away lived a man named Doug with a hatred so strong for a vegetable small and round and white that filled his heart with a fearful plight. Doug had tried it once in a burger so grand, but the taste that lingered, it was so bland. And the smell that lingered, it was so strong that Doug knew from then on his hatred would last long. He would avoid them at all costs. This much was true. No soup or salad, not even a stew. For the mere thought of onions, it made him so sick. He would go to great lengths to avoid them so quick. But one day, Doug's hatred would face its greatest test as he was invited to a feast of the best. roast beef and potatoes, and a gravy so fine. But the cook had made a mistake oh so divine. For hidden beneath the layers of roast beef and mash laid a bed of onions, finely chopped in a flash. Doug's heart began to race as he saw the dish come near, but he knew he had to try it for the sake of good cheer. He took a small bite, and to his surprise, the taste was not bad, and the smell was not vile. The onions had been cooked until they were sweet, and Doug realized his hatred was obsolete. From then on, Doug enjoyed onions so fine in soups and salads and even in wine. His heart was filled with a newfound delight, and he thanked the cook for showing him the light.
Where it says his hatred was obsolete, I would change that to
his hatred was complete.
That's how I would have done it.
I just like the fact that you've enjoyed them in wine now, too.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, everyone loves that onion-based wine. It's everyone's favorite. It's so good.
Yep.
It's so
Absolutely.
awesome. Richie goes, fucking onion wine, though. I'm with you. I'm with you there, buddy. All right.
Yeah, that was the first prompt that I gave it, and I was so excited when it returned that I was like,
on the phone with you when you did that, and you cackled with insane glee, and I was like, well, I don't know what's going on here, but this is delightful. I had a similar experience, Justin, when I put in my first prompt.
Please tell me.
And I refined it to get what I wanted. I had it write a short story for me, and this is a short story of how Justin and the spider take down the Mexican cartel. All right, so Justin Strandland was a brave and fearless man. But even he knew that taking on the Mexican drug cartel was no easy feat. They were a powerful and ruthless organization that controlled much of the drug trade in that region. Oops, I just realized that this doesn't look good here. Let's change that back. Silly Doug. So they were a powerful and ruthless organization that controlled much of the drug trade in that region. And Justin knew that he would need help to take them down. One day, while out on a walk in the forest, Justin stumbled upon a spider spinning her web. As he watched her, he was struck by her intelligence and skill. He knew that she would make a valuable ally in his fight against the cartel. So Justin approached the spider and explained his plan to her. At first, the spider was hesitant, but Justin was able to convince her that their partnership would be mutually beneficial. Together, Justin and the spider set out to take down the cartel. They used the spider's web-spinning abilities to set traps and ensnare the cartel members, and Justin's strength and bravery to take them down once they were caught. It was a long and difficult battle, but in the end, Justin and the spider were successful. Hold on, we're not done yet. The cartel was dismantled.
Oh, I was going to apply.
And the people of the region were finally able to live in peace. Justin and the spider remained best of friends, and their partnership continued to protect the people from any future threats. The end.
Hold on, I gotta do this. That was epic and almost makes me want to befriend a spider.
Right? I want you to know I did several other iterations of stuff with the spider because obviously Justin hates spiders. I said one was Justin falls in love with the spider, which was very good.
Yep.
It involved, a powerful connection that you'd never experienced before, which was great. You whispered in sweet nothings in her ear. And she seemed to understand and responded with a gentle touch of her leg on your cheek. And then I had...
Oh, God.
Justin's nemesis, the tarantula, becomes his best friend. But those didn't do as much as they weren't as good as the one that I'll tell you next. So now your turn. You tell me the other thing that you did.
Well, I think one thing I've learned about using this is that the more specific, the more hyper specific you can get, the funnier and just the better the story is going to, or the return is going to be. The fact that you decided to not just say that we teamed up, but we teamed up specifically to take down the Mexican drug cartel. That's the special sauce right there.
Well, the cool thing about this too is you can add to it. I could have gone back and told that, say, make it more whimsical, and it would have rewritten it with more whimsical, or be like, make it darker, make it more violent, and it would have done that. Jared goes, now use AI to generate pictures for the story. I thought about doing that. I really did. But I also feel bad about using AI images. So there we go. All right, Justin, what's your next one?
All right. So the next one, was, this is a topic that it's been it started as a good piece of advice from you. It turned into a running joke. And it has since become an impenetrable argument that I have never been able to really crack. Never been able to really. And I thought, what better use of this tool, this AI that has access to presumably every bit of information, what better use of this tool than to try and convince Doug to buy a boat?
As soon as you said this was a practical piece of advice that turned into an ongoing joke, I go, I know exactly what this is. Let's hear it.
So the prompt was, Doug says a boat is a depreciating asset. Prove him wrong. So it returned, Doug, you are mistaken about boats being a depreciating asset. While it is true that the value of some assets, such as cars, tend to decrease over time, it is not necessarily the case for boats. In fact, the value of many boats actually increase over time. There are a few reasons for this. First, boats are a luxury item that are highly sought after by many people. As a result, the demand for boats tend to remain strong, even as they age. Additionally, many boat owners take great care to maintain their boats, which can help to preserve their value. Furthermore, certain types of boats, such as classic wooden boats, can become more valuable over time due to their historical significance. Overall, while it is important to consider the potential costs of owning a boat, such as maintenance and storage, it is also important to recognize that a boat can be a valuable asset that can increase in value over time.
Seems pretty general. Seems like there's a lot of specific situations, but I would also say in general, no.
Take it up with the AI, Doug.
I will take it up with the AI.
I would love to see an extended conversation between you and the AI.
Yeah.
Because if you can chat before, you and I were doing a prompt that we won't talk about, but we were actually chatting with the AI and trying to convince it to, do something. And it was
we found its limitations. It's like, no, you cannot do that. I was like, oh, what have we here, AI?
So I would love for you to chat back and forth and see an extended version of that conversation.
I love it.
Anyway, that is that. So that was my attempt at AI refuting a boat being a depreciating asset.
Nice. All right.
Now that's comedy.
This next one, my second one that I'm going to share, it was very special to me. And a part of me wants to use the narrator AI for this, but I feel like it's going to botch the words, and I think the words are incredibly important with this. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. But Doug and the boat take down the Mexican cartel. Good one, Jared. All right, so I did another short story, and I'm not going to tell you the prompt. I want to tell you the story, and then I'm going to tell you the prompt after, because I feel like this is going to ruin it if I say it in advance. So here is the story. Okay, here we go. Justin Strandland had always been fascinated by feet. He loved the way they look, the way they felt, and the way they smelled. So, when he discovered that his new job required him to spend hours upon hours massaging and pampering the feet of the wealthy and powerful, he was over the moon. But little did Justin know his foot fetish would soon save his life. One day, while Justin was giving a foot massage to a wealthy business mogul, he overheard a conversation between two of the man's bodyguards. They were talking about a plot to assassinate the mogul and take over his business. Quickly, Justin realized he was in grave danger, but he also knew that he had a unique opportunity to save the mogul's life. Using his extensive knowledge of feet, Justin was able to distract the bodyguards and make a quick escape with the mogul. They ran out of the building and hopped into a waiting car, narrowly escaping the assassination attempt. The mogul was forever grateful to Justin for saving his life, and Justin was grateful for his passion for feet, which had ultimately saved the day. The end.
That one, my face hurts. I'm laughing so hard. That's so good.
The prompt.
What the fuck was the prompt?
The
for
prompt
that one?
was, tell me a short story about how Justin's foot fetish saved him from an assassination attempt.
There's so many plot holes in that story.
Well, like how you just using your extensive knowledge of feet, you distracted the bodyguards to make
And
a
also,
quick escape.
If I'm giving a foot massage and the bodyguards are right there, how's the mogul not overhearing him too?
Hey, man, he's got his headphones on. You know, he's not paying attention.
Oh,
You know?
God. It's so funny.
I just imagine you just like deeply getting into it because you're like, oh, that was so good, man. Oh,
Is this doing it for you like it's doing it for me? Oh, boy.
I love the intro paragraph, just talking about how much you love feet and why you like the feet. Like that was,
Right? Oh,
that was the
God,
best.
That was so incredibly disturbing and funny.
Oh, that was
my
a
God.
moment,
Right.
man. That was a moment.
That was
Oh.
a moment. So I want to cap this off by bringing it full circle and having a short story that was written while we were podcasting about the first story we talked about the first topic we talked about.
Jared, Justin, the foot fetish, take down the Mexican drug cartel.
I'm into all of these, Jared. All of these are amazing. All right. So, so we talked about the, so Doug had said, that sounds like a short story, The Truth About the Cheese. So I told it, write a short noir thriller story titled The Truth About the Cheese.
Oh, shit.
So here is The Truth About the Cheese. It was a dark and stormy night in the city. I, a hard-boiled private investigator, sat in my office, staring out the window at the rain-slickened streets below. I had been hired by a mysterious client to uncover the truth about a missing shipment of high-end cheese. At first, the case seemed like a simple job, just another missing goods case. But as I dug deeper, I began to uncover a web of deception and corruption that stretched from the city's finest restaurants to the highest levels of government. I followed the trail of the missing cheese, interviewing suspects and collecting evidence. But as I got closer to the truth, I realized that I had become a pawn in this game. The cheese, it turned out, was not just a luxury food item. It was a key ingredient in a powerful new drug that was sweeping the city. And the people who had stolen the shipment were willing to do anything to keep their secret. I was in over my head and I knew it. But I was determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. I would solve this case or die trying. The night was getting darker and the rain was coming down harder. I grabbed my trench coat and fedora. I stepped out into the night, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead in pursuit of the truth about the cheese.
Oh, my God. Oh, that was the truth. Everything about that was like classic noir, but it's like, it was this cheese conspiracy. They went all the way to the top, to the highest levels of government.
Yeah, government cheese.
Oh, my God. Wow. Well,
Doug and Justin take down the Mexican cheese cartel.
now we're talking. Well, listen, I'll say this much. We're doing this again at some point. The
100%.
AI, I don't even know what we're really going to call this segment, but, this was so much fun. And the more we play around with it, I think the more fun it's going to be. So I've got ideas. So we'll test its limits and we'll have fun with it.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Whew. All right. Well, Justin, what do you got to recommend for this week?
Yeah. Well, Dougie, I am going to be recommending the movie Bullet Train, starring Brad Pitt and a bunch of other people. It's a fun movie, man. It's from the director of Deadpool 2. It was a fun movie. I'm really enjoying the weird kind of crime style choice movies that Pitt's been in with the last one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Tarantino. It's just these oddball characters. He plays them so well, and it was a really great it was set in one setting, just on this bullet train, and all these characters eventually tie back together, and you see how they weave around and feed each other, and it's very interesting, very well acted, very funny. Everyone killed it. So I would strongly recommend. It's on Netflix right now, so go check it out. I thought it was a really fun movie. It's not a life-changing movie. You're not gonna watch it and be like, wow, I know the answers to life now. But man, if you're looking for a good action comedy, this ticks the boxes.
I literally just started watching that tonight. I'm about a third of the way through it.
Nice. What do you think of it so far?
I'm loving it. It's great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's fun.
It's very enjoyable. I like the storytelling techniques and stuff with it. I'm like, I'm into it. This is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton to recommend this week. I've been rewatching Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and just sort of like reminiscing about all this weird show that existed. That's been kind of fun. It's on HBO Max.
I love it.
I just find it's such an absurd show, but there's so many fantastic one-liners on it that just got me back like over 10 years ago, and it still gets me now. I still find myself laughing like, God, this line is this whole episode is completely absurd, but this line from Carl or whomever, and they just say this thing, and I realize I've been saying these lines out of context. And I'm like, oh my God, this is where it came from. It came from this fucking show. It's an insane show. It's not even worth explaining. But if you've never heard of it, it used to be on Adult Swim back in the day. It's currently on HBO Max, and it is wild and bizarre and strange. And I find it oddly amusing. So very much have been enjoying that, kind of revisiting that all over again. So,
Very cool. I love that.
Well, with that being said, gang, once again, thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you're checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com/MindGapPodcast. Check out our live streams on Tuesdays for the podcast at 7 p.m. Central. I'll be hosting a video game live stream on Friday at 8 p.m. Central. We're playing Dinkum, and we're going to be authentic Australians. That should be a good time. And then also be sure to check out our Discord. Link is in the description down below. Check out our Patreon. Check out our merch at redbubble.com. All that good stuff. And don't forget to follow Justin online as well.
On Instagram, you can follow me at Justin nope, that's not right. At Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. While you're in the online realm, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Good Pods, all the places where you can find and consume quality podcast. You can find and consume us, and we love being consumed. Just saying. Rate, review, subscribe, share, all those things. Big one is sharing. Let people know we exist. It's the only way we're going to grow. And then twoeastaith.com and twoeastaith on all social medias. Also loveandimprovfilm.com and Love and Improv Film on Instagram. Check it out.
Check it out. Well, gang, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And like we always say, I'm going to say, Justin, thank you.
Doug, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.